So the first thing that I look for when I pick my bug bounty target is to pick a program that I actually use outside of just hacking, right? So for example, let's say here, let's say look at TripAdvisor, right? I like using TripAdvisor because like traveling and local counter reviews, and I already know how it works, right? So by picking a program like this, I'm going to pick a program that I already enjoy using because I already use TripAdvisor like normally. That means that when I have to use it for bug bounty, it's not going to be a problem for me, right? I already know a lot of the features. That means I don't have to learn the features. And I already know basically when they're going to add new features. So if they ever add a new feature, I'm going to notice it immediately. That means I can test on it, right? If you don't use any of the programs in like your bug bounty platform, then just pick one that's maybe from the same industry. Like I used Trello a while back, and it's kind of similar to Asana. They're basically just project management apps. So I hack on Asana and Trello because they're kind of the same industry. If like say you use like a bank or something like that, and you kind of like you basically know how to use it, or use like crypto or something, but your specific platform doesn't have a bug bounty program, then you can probably apply those skills to different but similar bug bounty programs. And there's definitely at least one program like that. So once you've selected a program that you're familiar with, second thing is to look at some of the metrics, right? So I think the biggest metric that concerns me is this average payout one, because that actually tells you whether people are earning good money on it. It's safe to assume that you're probably going to be average. At least I always believe it. So what you're basically going to happen is that the average payout is going to be about $400, and we can actually compare that to some of the vulnerability targets, and we'll see that most people are probably getting P2, P4s, or P3s, so very little highs or crits, right? And obviously, we also look at the numbers, right? So the payouts here, that's another thing that's important. And for like criticals, I mostly look at mediums. Actually, mediums are a big thing for me. I make most of my money from them, so I kind of want at least four figures for a bounty in medium, and then high. You can see like the ratios that they're splitting in. You can see high and medium are pretty close. So for some people, if you're earning more highs, then you probably want that to be a little bit higher. And if you're looking for crits, then obviously you probably want to have a lot more as well on that. And then the thing I look for as well is scope. So what you actually like hacking on. In this case, they're paying the most for APIs. If you like API hacking, then this might be a good program for you. If you don't, well, you might have to pick another one. If you prefer something like web hacking, then you can also do something like that here. Then notice that a lot of programs have lower bounties for different targets, so you might not be happy with that either. And honestly, most the other things don't really matter. Or most of the things I look at are average bounty and the scope. But it might also be good to check whether or not there's some like existing vulnerabilities. I'm not logged in at the moment, but if I logged in, you could see like existing vulnerabilities. If there's a lot of existing vulnerabilities, you might get a lot of duplicates, so that could not be great as well. There'll be like this eye icon usually in Bugcrowd, and kind of the last thing I like to look at is whether or not they actually disclose reports. So, for example, we see here that TripAdvisor doesn't disclose reports. So I actually like to read disclosure reports because they give me an idea of what I can actually find on the program. So for me, it is actually important to be getting the um the disclosure reports. But from the undisclosed reports, you can see that some people are getting like lower bounties, like P1s, but only getting $2,000. So that is also interesting. It might tell you that the program isn't actually paying as much money as they say they are. So up to interpretation there. But that's kind of the main metrics I look at. This one, this validation metric, is useless. This is just, I don't think this is actually ever true. If you get validated within 5 days, then good luck to you. Like, so then I'm going through that. I'm going to look at least one more program and I'll actually evaluate it for you. So I think TripAdvisor is a little bit of a low paying program. They don't disclose reports and the payments aren't that great. So I probably wouldn't go for them. Now I looked through a few more of these other programs and I use something else called Lime. It's an application for scooters, like you can like rent out scooters and stuff. I think it's mostly European. See, the average payout is much higher for this. Something that we like to see. We want to see a good average payout there. So that means that if we do get a bounty, it's going to be probably a lot higher. We can see the overall payout is obviously going to be higher as well because this is a slightly larger company. So they're paying the 4 figures for medium, which is important for me. And we can see that they're also mostly doing their APIs. iOS as well. If you like hacking mobile or iOS, sorry, if you like hacking Android and iOS, then this is probably going to be a good program for you as well. So nothing else really here, and let's see if they actually disclose their reports. And if you go into here, we go to disclose reports, it seems that they don't either. So that could mean that might not be the program for you, but I would probably let that slide because they seem to actually award a decent bit of bounties for this program. Like 300 for a P4 here, 6,000 for this P1. Be interesting to know what that is actually, and you can see that they're actually all fairly recent as well. Sometimes this value can get a little bit skewed if you have, for example, like a P1 reward, like a $6,000 reward, but you can see that they do reward the 4 figures for their medium bounties as well. So yeah, that's kind of the criteria that I like to look for whenever I'm picking a new program. So the first one is to choose something that I already know how to use. So something like Trello or Atlassian. The thing I look for as well is the average bounty to see whether or not people are actually getting good money from this program. I like to look at their scope, so whether or not their scope includes things that I like hacking on. Like I like hacking on things like dashboards, like web development, API, stuff like that. And then I also look at their actual bounty. So 4 figures for medium is usually what I look for, and a decent high-end critical bounty as well for me. And I also look at whether or not they disclose reports. I like reading through disclosed reports to see what people are actually finding on the program. That's important for me. Might not be as important for you, but that's something that I look at as well. And yeah, I think that's the main thing I look for whenever I choose a bug bounty program. So if you follow those guidelines, I'm sure that you'll find a program that you really enjoy hacking on, one that you'll stay consistent on, and one that you'll make a lot of money from. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, before I go, I also have Bug Bounty Labs in the description. These are just hands-on practical labs that you can try out yourself. They're all online, you don't need to download anything. They're just on a web page like. So if you want to get the practical side of Bug Bounty in, it's good that you're watching these videos as well. But obviously Bug Bounty is a very practical thing. You have to actually do it yourself. So to get that side of it, I do recommend using some kind of labs. I will always include free ones in my descriptions as well, but you can also try out my ones I've made and that I think will really help you. Yeah, apart from that, you can subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Also watch my previous episode on my framework for actually getting started on a new program, which is I think called Recon to Report. That's what it is. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and thanks for watching.